Hi, my name is Jeff Conlon and I'm the founder and CEO of IMA. And today we're going to look at a really cool case study for one of our clients, Ongaro Sons. They're a plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical company based here in Northern California. And so what's exciting about Ongaro is that they came to us with some good growth in the last few years, but not much of that was coming from digital. And so they really wanted to take their digital game to the next level. They were working with an existing agency, which we'll cover, but they were not getting the scale that they wanted. The other great thing is they actually added electrical. They've been in business for over 80 years, just doing plumbing and then HVAC, and then added electrical as a third service. And we've been able to help them fill that lead pipeline and grow that electrical revenue, which has been really exciting. So let's dig in. So quickly going to cover four main topics: setting the scene, showing you the results, showing you exactly how we did that, how we got those results, and also just the client testimonial so you understand how they're feeling about those results as well. So setting the scene. So IMA was hired in 2020 just as the pandemic kicked into gear. In fact, I believe our agreement was actually signed March 14th, so it was 2 days before the lockdown here in California. IMA was hired to take over from Ongaro's previous agency, which they'd been working with for, I believe, about a year. And that agency, unfortunately, owned Ongaro's website, meaning that they could not have the website to themselves. And they own the Google Ads account, and they refused to pass these along to the client. Totally different topic, something that drives me crazy personally, and we've got a great blog post about that on our site to read if you're interested in why you need to own all of your ad platforms, Google Ads, etc., and obviously your website. So the previous results from the previous agency were not great. After about 6 months, they were maxing out at about 164 leads a month. They were, getting some decent metrics, but the client wanted to grow, and this agency was just not providing that level of scalability. So they were just kind of plateauing, not doing a lot, not offering a lot of recommendations on how to grow, how to scale. They also weren't even focusing on all of the services. They were really kind of niched down on a couple services to kind of hit their numbers. So not great. So what we wanted to do was get them rolling, get them on their own accounts, and that's what we did. So we set up and built their new Google Ads account, which they own, of course, and set up all their other digital platforms correctly and in their ownership. So Facebook, Google Search Console, etc. Their new website and Google Ads campaign launched in June 2020, and then SEO, Facebook ads, and email activities kicked off a couple months later in August. So here we are 2 years later, and let's take a look at those results. So website leads, right? This is where things are coming from. So these are screenshots pulled directly from Google Analytics. So phone calls and appointment forms have increased steadily month over month. Our most recent month in August 2022 generated 1,304 leads, which is pretty fantastic. So 1,080 of those leads were phone calls with 224 web form appointments. We're still obviously growing this account because the client wants to grow, and we're on plan to hit 1,500 leads a month very soon. You can see those details, those red arrows in the screen share directly from Google Analytics. Google Ads. So from June to December 2020, so we took over, we signed in March, but we kind of were getting things set up and obviously dealing with the pandemic starting. So we really kicked off in June, a couple months later. So from June to December 2020, in those first 6 months, we generated 1,090 leads total for the full calendar year. Budgets were much smaller at that time, obviously. In 2021, for the full year, we generated 3,047 leads as we scaled up that budget. In 2022, we're on pace to generate over 500 leads per month from Google Ads, which is a huge amount of leads for them. Really excited. And you can see that chart showing the steady growth from June 2020 to August 2022 with almost 7,000 conversions now. Search engine optimization. So the campaign started in summer 2020. Again, organic traffic had just 473 users in June, so they had some traffic, but not a lot. Organic traffic had 5,427 users in August 2022. So over 1,000% increase in organic traffic just in that first 2 years. And you can see that from the red arrow there in the screenshot from Google Analytics, that really consistent steady growth once the content really kicked in. We use something called a constellation strategy. So you can see that late part of 2021, it's really moving nicely. All right, how are we getting that SEO traffic? Well, one of our key things beyond technical SEO is the content strategy or the blog page views. So we have a blog content started in fall 2020. So that traffic generated 29 page views when we started in September. Blog traffic generated 7,645 page views 2 years later in September 2022. So it's a 1,000% increase in blog specific page views on the website. You can see that screenshot from Google Analytics there. Obviously, this is massive growth. This is the type of growth we want to see. And blog traffic does so much. Obviously, it delivers actual customers to the site when they're researching things, but it also improves the metrics for the site, so Google ranks it better. So it really does an amazing job. And with our constellation strategy, we are able to recreate these results time and time again. So now looking at the total traffic to the website, so the total monthly audience was 712 users in June 2020 when we started. So 700 people a month is not a lot if you're trying to generate the leads that this client was wanting to generate to scale. So the total monthly audience, August 2022, so just over 2 years, was almost 11,976 users. So it's a 1,582% increase in total monthly audience on the website. Again, so you can see steady, consistent growth. There's always going to be some peaks and valleys, but we don't want to see the line, the trend line going anywhere but up, up, up. So very happy with total website traffic and almost 12,000 users a month now. So how do we do this? Well, we use something called the Digital Marketing Quadrant, also referred to as the DMQ. So this allows you to get full funnel advertising, not just hanging out doing Google ads and organic SEO type of traffic at the bottom of the funnel. So this is really kind of a step-by-step process for us. And here's how we do it. So we research your customers and create an ideal customer avatar. This is really basic stuff, but most companies actually don't do this, especially in this type of space, in a home service or home improvement types of space in local markets. And the second thing we do is learn what those ideal customers' biggest pain points are. Again, doesn't take much research. The internet is a trove of data. So we're able to dig in, use our process to identify those pain points and how it relates to the service or product that you offer. Now the impossible offer is then created. We call it impossible because we want it to be impossible to turn down. So that explains how to solve the customer's pain points really clearly as it relates to your company and your service or product. So once we have that impossible offer, we use that as a framework. Then we launch the constellation strategy for organic traffic growth, basically answering questions that your future customers are going to ask on your blog and throughout your website. Then we use Google ads, Facebook ads to communicate that impossible offer to potential ideal customers in all different stages of the funnel. That is key, all different stages, top, middle, and bottom. And then we convert those ideal customers into actual customers. So once you have customers, obviously we're growing the customer base. Then we want to continue to nurture trust and authority through our automated email marketing process. And that's going to improve lifetime value and total lifetime and actually total customer value for your business. And then the key thing here that cannot be stressed enough, which is what we did here for Ongaro, optimize campaigns and increase media spend to scale your funnel to match your revenue goals. If your revenue goal is to remain flat, right, this isn't the type of solution that's going to work for you. And it's not the type of client that we typically take on. If your goal is to increase revenue, obviously with profit going along side by side, then this is the type of framework that has proven results and is a kind of a set standard expectation at this point for success. This is an example just in a visual form of what Ongaro's Digital Marketing Quadrant funnel looked like. So you can see it's quite complicated in a way, but also because, again, this is a kind of a repeatable process for us, we're able to put this in place for your business and get the expected results because we know that this type of a framework works. So it looks complicated, but for us, it's actually pretty easy. So a couple examples, if you see, of the work itself. So within Google Ads, we have a very specific type of framework we use, depending on the industry. Home service, home improvement, like Ongaro, we have a very specific and proven framework for how we structure our Google Ads campaigns, and they work beautifully, really well, and consistently well. Facebook advertising, creative is key. Testing is key as well. testing not just creative, but also audiences. And so this is an example just of some of the creative that we roll out and test for Ongaro. So really, really cool stuff that we're able to do there on the design side. And then the SEO content strategy rather. So this is an example of a blog here that you can see. These are not 500 word blog posts. These are in-depth 1500 word blog posts that can rank up to first position. So this specific blog post is usually ranking between first and fifth for the keyword of air duct cleaning, which is obviously tons of traffic for that, and has performed very well. Then the email campaigns, an example here of an email design for Ongaro. These work incredibly well, not only for your existing customer base, but also for a prospect email base if we're using lead magnets and things of that nature to build a prospect list, which is part of our DMQ that we strongly suggest. And happy clients is what we're all about. Happy long-term clients. 2 years actually for us is a pretty short-term client. Our longest-term client at this point is about 14 years. And they are still with us, and we're still scaling them. Obviously a slower pace, but they're well over $20 million a year. And so scaling them responsibly. But this is from Sherry Gully, the marketing manager at Ongaro. And the key thing here is that, there's a lot of digital agencies out there. With our DMQ process, it really is a difference, and that's kind of what she's illuminating here in her testimonial. Good stuff. The one other thing I want to point out about here is we really like to educate our clients, be as transparent as possible. That goes from our fees to the type of service we're doing and how we're doing it. So when you talk to your lead strategist on a monthly call with IMA, you get an educational overview of what the marketing is, and not just some report that's just read to you and then the call's over. So anyhow, I hope that's been really helpful. That's the Ongaro case study for IMA today. And if you're interested in learning more about how we might be able to help your company do something very similar, it's really easy just to go to our website and schedule the time to speak to me directly, and we will get you set up with a consultation call and see if we might be a good fit to help you grow. Thank you.